Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second episode of SMRC's Voices for Valor. It is March 12th, March 19th, 5:45. We are coming to you live from Deadwood, South Dakota, the lodge where all of the magic happens from Sacred Mountain. Today, we got Jared with us, and I've also brought my mom on so she can kind of just give us the family members' perspective of the things that Sacred Mountain can do for people.
I love it.
So, Brandon, if you want to bring up my mom.
Hello.
Hi, Linda. How are you? Can you hear us?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Well, it's great to have you with us tonight. I was actually so excited when Colin said, I'm going to bring Mom on tonight. I said, what a great idea. Let's talk to Mom.
I'm honored.
Because, I think with us just getting started, we haven't, we're, like Colin just said, second show, but we've been playing around with some stuff and doing some things, and we've talked about who we can have, but talking to family members of someone that's been struggling and then come to the program and share their experience and their side of it is just outstanding. So tell us a little bit about your back history as far as, and you can be as raw as you want to, but tell us like the struggles and what the family was going through and witnessing and kind of, for lack of better words, what you guys were having to put up with because of where, the demons that Colin was fighting.
Okay. Well, the day that he left for Iraq was the night that I started losing sleep because I never knew when I was going to get a phone call. But I thought after he would come back, that would end. But it didn't. The PTSD was real. And to go to bed every night and wonder if you were going to get a phone call, a knock on the door that said your son was gone was terrifying. The struggles, oh man, he would have good days, and then there were the bad days that you walked on your tippy toes because you didn't want to say the wrong thing because an explosion would happen. And then he wouldn't talk to you for a while. You would be called horrible names. And deep down in my heart, I knew he didn't mean it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know enough about PTSD, and I'd never been to war. And so anyways, he would, nights you'd get on Facebook and there would be posts that I'm done, I'm over, I'm going to kill myself, yada, yada. And this lasted up until he went to Sacred Mountain. As a mom, you want to help your kids. You want your kids to be happy. But I couldn't help him. He had too many demons that I could not relate to. He would try programs and he'd go for a while. And then, then they'd want to put medicine in him. And then he'd be out drowsy. And he didn't like that. That's not Colin. Colin is full of life. Colin loves to be busy. And he doesn't want to be in bed sleeping because they want you to drown your demons in pills. And he tried for a service dog many, many times, never succeeded. But I do remember the day I was at my friend's house and he come over and we were sitting there and he handed me his phone and they had said he was number 6 on the list. And at that point, he still didn't believe it. But then the day that he actually was accepted was amazing. The joy in his face was, unbelievable. But we still struggled at that point in time. It was hard to see your child go through something you can't help them with. And then along came Jared and Sacred Mountain. And the day he had come and he had said that he was going to go in June. And then he come and he said that he was going to get to go in May. And I was like, yes. And he was going to take his bus. And I was thought in the back of my mind, I wish you wouldn't take your bus because this is just not, nothing else has ever worked.
It's an easy out.
Easy out. Get upset, you take off, you get in your bus and you go. And that's what he, always did. And anyways, then the day he come to me and he was, Mom, will you take me up there? Because I don't want to take my bus, because I don't want to leave. And I was so relieved. And the drive up there, I thought the whole way, please let this be the place, please. And anyways, we're driving, and several times I thought, this is really far enough that he's not going to walk back. He's going to stay. He's not going to walk back to town, because it's way too far. And anyways, then we got up there and we drove through those gates. And to this day, every time we go through those gates, there is this peace that comes over you. And anyways, dropped him off and I left, and all the way home I thought about this, and I got to Sturgis and I looked up in the sky and there was a bald eagle in the sky. And I have always thought of my dad when there's a bald eagle. And at that point, I had this good feeling that hopefully this would work. So anyways, come home, did my thing. And then one night, it was a couple nights later, after he'd been up there, I got this message on my phone and it says, Mom, this place is fucking, and I could not read anything else. So I took me like 10 minutes to open this because I thought, oh my God, this isn't going to work. He wants me to come and get him, and I'll go up and get him, and we'll just do the same thing over and over. Next week, he'll be pulling out in his bus because he's mad at us again. Anyways, and then I opened the text message and it said awesome. And that feeling was amazing. And then the day that he come home and got out of that pickup, I could tell that he was a new kid. You could see the glow in his face. I see the glow more every time I see him. And to go up there and help serve lunch and visit with these people, it's absolutely amazing. Sacred Mountain has saved my son's life. Because if it wasn't for Sacred Mountain, I would not have my son. And I am so proud of him. So proud of him. He is doing amazing and helping other people instead of thinking that it's the end and there's no other place to go. There is a place to go, and it is called Sacred Mountain. And I am so thankful for Sacred Mountain. So thankful.
Well, we're so thankful for him, and we're also thankful for his family, because I know that all of those times that, when things were getting bad, and I don't have kids, but I know, talking to different parents, sometimes you don't want to give up, but you don't know what to do. And so you kind of just throw your hands up and say, I hope something comes along that's right. So let's go back a little bit, because first of all, when Colin told me that he was going to bring you on, it actually filled my heart, because knowing where he was at even a year ago,
Yes.
18 months ago, this is not something that he would have done.
No.
Nope.
This is so the growth that has happened in 1 year, 18 months, we're just talking a year, because we're just coming up on a year that he's actually came to the program. That'll be in May.
Yep.
But he got Knox in February. So, we're still in that 12-month to 18-month bubble. So for him to want to bring you on and let you share your experience of what you've seen, I think is absolutely amazing. But let's go back a little bit to some of the really difficult times, because I think there's people out there that maybe still might be a little bit hesitant on, how bad was it? I shared some stories, the last time when we were on, about the 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls, and, the 12 o'clocks, come get the dog. I can't do this anymore. We walked through that process, but let's talk about some of the stuff that you and Sam and the nieces and the nephews kind of were going through. I just spent some time with Kristen, Avery. I didn't get to see her much this time, but just visiting with her a little bit. It was rough, like really rough.
It was really rough.
Like anger and frustration, and the drugs and the alcohol and the self-medicating that was his daily routine, because that's all he could do to function.
Well, and not just anger, it was explosive rage. I don't even know that it could be classified as anger. I mean, some of it can, obviously, but there was other times where it was just rage,
Right.
like explosive. I went from 0 to 1,000,000 in a half a second.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was. He would get mad. I can't even count how many TVs he broke, how many computers he broke, how many whatever was in his way was broken.
Right.
And the names that he would call us were, oh dear, and like his nephew Stephen and James, they got to the point where when Colin would show up, they would go hide in their bedrooms because they were afraid of him. I remember one time he was in the basement, and I never was really scared until that day scared me. I can't even remember what had happened because there's so many that you can't. But anyways, he was downstairs, put his hand into his TV, broke his laptop, threw his phone, and then he took a knife out and he like mutilated the mattress. And when I saw him cutting that mattress, I was scared. I was really scared at that point in time because I didn't know if he was going to come upstairs and take it out on us. He never ever, like, it was the name calling and that the verbal abuse, was, and the destruction of his property, the destruction of whatever was in his way. And now when he comes, the kids are like, oh, uncle's coming, and they are so excited when he shows up now. And before, everybody wanted to run to hide, and when he'd pull up in the driveway in his bus, it would be, oh my God, now what are we gonna have to deal with today? And when he would say he just needed to go for a drive and needed some money, and I'd have him come over and I'd try to talk to him, and he would just be, Mom, the demons, they're so bad. They're just so bad. And couldn't stop him. And
I think that's something that so many of us civilians, we don't understand what they actually are going through.
oh yeah, I can imagine.
We try to play it in our heads, but you can't fathom the things that they've had to do, that they've had to go through. And now looking at him, we're going to call it right now 10 months, because we're 10 months from that year of his, we'll call it the reunion to when he came through. There's been so much change for the better in just 10 months. And I mean, he said this to me, I think, multiple times. He wishes that he would have found Sacred Mountain, 2 or 3 years prior, because he would be that much farther along on his healing process. But when we're in it with family, we just sometimes don't know what the best thing is. What do? We don't want to hear it from a friend. We don't want to hear it from a family member. And sometimes we definitely don't want to hear it from mom saying, you've got to get help, because speaking from kind of experience, we don't want to feel like we're weak.
Right.
We don't want to feel like we're losing control. And in all actuality, we're not losing control. We're actually getting better. We're finding something that can give us a new outlet, a new family. I mean, Colin and you and the rest, you guys have met so many great people that, I mean, he's got a support staff now of many, many, many people he can call upon. Colin, what do you want to say to your mom?
Like for me, it just, I don't know. I don't really know what to say except for thank you for, being there, not giving up on me. I had a lot of family and friends that, they just simply gave up on me because I wouldn't, like everything they tried to do to help me, I just pushed them away or, got bitter about it. And, now that I'm on the other side of it and like I'm working on dealing with all of my issues and stuff, regulating them. I've got friends and family that are wanting back in. And, like for my mom and my sister, like they're my rock. They've not always liked it, but they were there for me. And yeah, just, thank you. For everybody listening, if your mom says you need to get help, God damn it, go get help.
Yeah.
Call Sacred Mountain.
Absolutely.
It's
And you're
the
building a
place.
relationship back with your dad,
Yep.
your daughter.
Yep.
There's so many things. And I think probably in the last 10 days, I've had a lot of stuff thrown at me as far as life and death and what we have to look at here very soon with somebody very close to me. But man, just knowing that there are people out there that care and there are people out there. So I wasn't going to bring this up, but so last night, Tara and I, we went into Deadwood. We met with some friends. We hung out for Friday night. We went and listened to a beatbox guy play at the cigar bar, and then we walked down to another place and just hanging out and visiting. And there was someone that came up to me and she said, "You two are with Sacred Mountain." I said, "Yeah." And she ran away. She just literally grabbed her eyes and took off running. Tara and I looked at one another and we're like, that was kind of weird. She came back up to us about 10 minutes later and she said, "I have to thank you for what you've done for Colin." I was like, "Well, you're welcome." Well, come to find out, she was a friend of yours that had been there through some of your hard times. And she sees the progress that's happening in your life right now. And she just cried and cried. And she goes, "I'm so thankful that there's a place like Sacred Mountain that truly doesn't give up." And I thought that was pretty outstanding, because there are people out there that see your growth and where you're at and what you're doing and the positive things. And you still have bad days.
Oh yeah.
We all do. I always say we're not fixed. We're just working on fixing ourselves every day.
Yeah. The thing about it is now my bad days aren't bad days for everybody because I've put tools in my tool belt to help myself notice and deal with them before they become, ultimately a life-changing decision that I make.
Absolutely.
Well, even like Avery, the last time during the gala when she was here, we were sitting at Sam's house visiting, and she's like, "Grandma," and I said, "What?" She says, "I have something to tell you," and I said, "Okay." She says, "Well, we were in the store, and Dad told Knox to stay beside me," and she said, then he got up, and she said, "I just thought, oh my God, what's going to happen? You're going to get in trouble now. Dad is going to be mad at you because you got up and moved." And she looks at me and she says, "You know what, Grandma?" And I said, "What?" And she says, "He didn't even get mad." And
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm so proud of him." And I said, "Yes, your dad has changed because the Sacred Mountain has changed him. And you are going to be amazed at the difference in your dad from the last time you saw him." Yep. And even
What I,
Kristen.
what I like to say is we just helped bring them back.
Yep.
Deep down inside, Colin is Colin, and this is the man that he's always wanted to be. He's just struggled finding it,
Yep.
and we've been able to help guide him into a new purpose, a new direction, give him some tools. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. And I'm very proud of him. And I never give up. Samantha and I never did give up on him.
Yeah.
Never. Never, ever.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on here, and just it's so good to hear a mom's side of it, because there might be a mom out there that is going through the very similar things that you were going through 2 years ago, that didn't know what to do and was just like you said, was scared when you were going to get that phone call.
Oh, yeah. Every night when I went to bed, I would always think, is this going to be the night? Am I going? And then when he would do this and put it on Facebook, and then, of course, he lived in Kansas at part of the time. And when that would happen, here I am 600 and some miles away, and nobody can find him. Nobody can get a hold of him. It just, yeah, not, yeah. Yeah. And then another thing that really helped me understand PTSD, in which um Colin showed up after he'd went through the treatment and everything. He showed up and he put on Bastards Road on the TV, and then he walked out. And if that put a whole new perspective and filled in the gaps that I didn't understand about PTSD at that point, and that my son is not the only one that acted like this, and that he, all the others, same thing, called people horrible names, didn't mean any of that, and have people give up on him. And yeah, but that show really helped me put PTSD in perspective and
Absolutely.
understand it more.
And we play that film for every retreat, and it's something that we usually do towards the latter part of the week, and it's another one of our tools that help the attendees that are coming through see it from another perspective, so that they get to they know then they're not the only ones that are going through this. There's Jonathan. I mean, there's a whole list of other guys that have struggled, and they found some sort of peace in whatever they were chasing. Colin, what would you say to somebody right now if they're struggling? I mean, I see there's a lot of stuff coming, and you're running the the computer because I can't do all of that. But what would you say to someone right now? If there's somebody that's just tuning in, that's struggling, that needs some sort of an outlet, what would you say to do right now?
Get on the internet, go to sacredmountain.org and read about what we do here. Look at the application. And if you're ready, hit send.
I like how you say if you're ready, because you got to be ready, don't you?
Absolutely. You have to be ready for this program to work.
It can't be just a weekend getaway or a week getaway. It can't be just something that, oh, it looks fun to go to the Black Hills, because, I mean, really, you're up at 6:30, you go all day, you don't get a lot of rest time.
Nope.
You go to bed at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, get back up and do it all over.
Yep.
There is so many men and women out there that have said these words to me. I don't deserve it. Somebody else out there needs the program more than me. And I've told this to more than one person. Has the thought of suicide crossed your mind? And they say, yeah. I said, then this program is for you. If there is a struggle in your life, whether it be from combat, whether it be from anything, I mean, police officers, firefighters, if there's been thoughts of suicide, give this program a chance. Give it a shot, because it truly can change and save lives.
Absolutely.
We see it every month. I suppose is it time for a commercial?
Just about.
Okay. Well, before we do, let's, can we throw up the Got Your Six? If we can throw that up real quick. This is just an easy way to donate to the program. It's $6 on the 6th of every month. We're going to do one of the promo deals. If we can get someone to donate more than the $6 a month, the first person that donates more than $6 and signs up monthly, you're going to go in for a drawing, and I don't know what it's going to be yet, but before the end of the show, we'll have something.
Okay. We're also doing the hashtag Got Your Six for some swag.
Oh, perfect. Well,
So if you're listening, put in the comments, hashtag Got Your Six. We'll do a drawing at the end. Sounds like maybe there might be more than one.
yeah, for sure. And we'll come back after the commercial. We'll answer a few questions. If somebody out there is watching and you've got some questions that you would like answered, we'll kind of go into that after the break.
Sounds good.
The locals' choice for lodging, dining, and gaming is the Lodge at Deadwood Gaming Resort, located in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. The Lodge at Deadwood offers first-class accommodations where you can relax and rejuvenate in luxurious guest rooms and spa-quality suites. We feature free internet, the area's largest indoor water playland, a gift shop, and a 24-hour fitness center. Whatever you're craving, our 2 award-winning restaurants are sure to satisfy your appetite. The Deadwood Grill features chef-inspired cuisine and a large wine selection in a casual fine dining setting. Or choose the lively atmosphere of Ogie's Sports Bar. With televisions on every wall, it's a great place to meet your friends and watch your favorite games. Feel the excitement and explore our spacious casino, where you will find a large selection of the newest and most popular slots, a large table games area, and the Bet Lodge Sportsbook. It's all under one roof at the Lodge at Deadwood Gaming Resort.
And we're back. Thank you all for tuning back in. Linda, we'll probably hit back on you in just a few minutes. So, so far, great show. We do have a few questions out there. Jimmy, man, we can't thank you enough for the kind words. You know, I like what your comment, you know, if you're, how did he say it?
If you are willing to step off the curb, SMRC will step off with you.
Yeah, I like that. You know, it's just, it's true. I mean, I believe that the group of people that are at Sacred Mountain, they want to see the best out of each and every one of the people and the men and women that come through this program. So, you know, give it a try. Sometimes it's not easy. Most of the time it's not easy, but, how's that saying go? You got to walk through the fire to get through it
Yeah.
or something
Something like that.
You know, sometimes you got to really get to the bottom before you can start to grow. And, you know, with the equine therapy, the blacksmithing, the leather work, the massage therapy, the yoga, the family camaraderie. I mean, we're sitting right here where we break bread together. We eat our meals. There's just something special about being able to bring the family together and share experiences that so many people understand without someone trying to tell you how you should understand it.
Right.
So Lance, thank you. Craig, we're just getting a lot of comments from a lot of the alumni that came to the program. Let's talk about suicide. You know, it's like that elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, but we all know it's real. We all know that there's, you know, over 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide. There's the number of police officers, firefighters in the Leo family. We know that the numbers are just as high. And we know that that's the end. When you're at that point where you don't think you have anything else to give except take your life, because so many people, I've heard this, the world will be a better place if I'm not in it. I bring too much shit in. I'm always causing problems. I've always got something going on. That's not true. I mean, there's so many people out there that care and that want to do whatever they can to help. But like Colin said before the break, you have to be ready for that experience, because there's going to be things that we talk about that are not easy. There's going to be tears. There's going to be anger. There's going to be frustration. There's going to be embarrassment. I mean, you talk some of these veterans, they're embarrassed because they struggle. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. And they get embarrassed because they feel like if they ask for help, they're weak.
Right.
Because you, as military, whatever, I mean, the military, the Leo, the veterans, police officers, firefighters, it's been engraved to be strong. You got to be tough. You can't show weakness. So many of the men and women feel that if they show weakness, that they're weak.
Right.
They're not fighting.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said, you know, I'm military. I don't have any firefighter or cop experience, but, you know, from being around it and talking to the people that I've met here, we're all trained, just like you said, we're trained to deal with the situation as it is in front of us and put the shit that we don't need to deal with in the back. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the shit that goes in the back is the stuff that needs to be talked about, that needs to be brought to the front. But, you know, we're taught, and it's getting better, but we're taught that, you know, in the military especially, you take on the mission, you do the mission, and you move on.
Right.
And then it all catches up back with you.
It does. You know, one of the things that kind of plays over in my head so many times. I mean, I've sat in that room. I don't know if I sat down and really figured out. I mean, we're starting year 5, so I've sat in that room 80 plus times. I've heard 185 different men and women, and they all say the same similar things. They were scared. They were frustrated. They didn't think that there was anywhere else to turn to. So we drink more. We find other tools, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We find other tools to self-medicate. And when we start self-medicate, that just makes everything 12,000 times worse, because when we're depressed, when we're scared, when we have all these different things and we add alcohol or drugs to it, excuse me, it just speeds that process up like 12 times, 50 times more than if we didn't have that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stress it enough. If if you're struggling and if you have a need or a desire to come through this program, fill out the application. Our applications are online. It's an easy process. We're gearing up. April is our first retreat, April 20 through 27. Then we have one in May, June, July, August, September, October. There's lots of dates out there. So don't be too proud. And I don't mean that like disrespectful, but don't be so strong to not ask for the help that's out there, because we want to help.
Yeah. And coming through Sacred Mountain is just going to help you be stronger. It's going to help you achieve the mental health goals and the life goals. Really, it will help work you towards that. Just like Jared and my mom both said about me, they're in 10 months since I've came through the program, like my life I'm moving forward now, instead of even if it's not at a fast pace or it's not the same pace every day, I'm not going 2 steps forward and then fucking stumbling back 100 steps to try to work my ass off to get back where I was, just to do it again.
Right.
And now I may only take 1 step forward in a week, but I'm not going backwards.
Right. Right. And it's easier. It's easier.
So much easier.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a list of people that we're going to bring on this show over the next few months. And I'm going to get, kind of some testimonies from other alumni. And we've got some special guests that we're going to bring on that can really talk about PTSD. I just got to hang out with Colonel Greg Gatson, great friend of mine. We got to hang out with him when we were in Dallas for the Halo event. And I'm going to bring Gatson on, hopefully, for one of our shows here pretty soon. And there's a list of other people. But, I think one of the things, if you don't know who I'm talking about, Colonel Greg Gatson, double amputee. Colin can actually share a little bit of his story, because Colin, you were there when he.
Yeah, he was, Colonel Gatson was our brigade commander when we were deployed in 2007. Yeah, it was really cool getting to meet him in person. My dad hadn't met him before. And then, getting to share my story with him and him knowing where he was at and where I was at during that time, it was really, really cool.
Right. But I think one of the things that stuck out to me when I was sitting there visiting with him, and, Gatson is now a motivational speaker. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He was a motivational speaker for the New York Giants. Hearing him, here we got a war veteran who is a double amputee who played in the movie Battleship, who just actually signed and was doing, he did a couple of seasons with NCIS. But one of the things that stuck out to him is, or stuck out to me when he was talking to me, is you can't give up. You've got to fight. And some days are way harder than others, but you got to get up, fight, push forward, because tomorrow is definitely going to be a new day. And if you can make today just a little bit better than yesterday, tomorrow's going to be even better.
Absolutely.
I see we got some more questions coming in.
Maynard said, or when you feel that you're the only equation in the problem. I think that's when we were talking about the suicide stuff and how everybody, you know, and you know, that I definitely get that, because I, for a while, felt like I was the only equation, and, you know, thinking that that's the way out is not really the best way, because you're like, you know, for me, it would be my problems would end, but then all the problems fall back onto my mom and my sister and my dad and my daughter and Kristen, Knox, you guys, Sacred Mountain. I mean, it's, yeah,
Right.
it's not the answer. Sacred Mountain's the answer.
Right. Yeah, and it's so good. I mean, I'm just I can't see the full screen, but I can see, you know, the comments that are kind of coming in, and you know, Greg and Jimmy and Lance, and there's a couple others. Looks like Jody made a comment.
Yep.
You know, these are all people that were walking very similar footsteps to what you were walking, and they struggled. You know, Jody, for example. I mean, it took Jody many conversations of talking to Bill at Deadwood Tobacco. I mean, he was throwing it at her. It took her coming to the gala. It took her meeting Tara and I one day in Rapid City for her to actually go home and fill it out and hit send and come through. So you're not alone if you look around and see that there is a program out there that truly does care and truly will do whatever we possibly can to try to give you the next step up, the next opportunity. You know, it's been something that's been very hard for me to even still wrap my mind around, and going 5 years into this, I can't imagine what hell a lot of these men and women have been through, you know, and what so oftenly I think we forget is it's not just combat.
No, not at all.
You know, the sexual harassment, the MST, the things that happen in the military. And again, I don't want to beat the military up and talk bad about them, because thank God we have men and women out there that do what they do to keep our country free. But there is so many other things that play a factor in our PTSD.
Absolutely.
And some of those things are, they're just things that we don't want to talk about, because again, it's that white elephant in the room that nobody really wants to talk about it, because it's going to bring up emotions. It's going to bring up sadness, heartache, frustration, all of the different feelings that we have. And so, like you say, we just keep stuffing it down, to where you can only stuff it so long before you explode. And you can explode two ways. You can explode in the fact where it's the end, or you explode to where people really try to get you help, get you a new direction, get you new positive people to be around. You know, I think that's one thing that I still talk about to this day is, you know, our friends and our network of people, they can make or break us. Because if we're not with the right people, they can take us down so many roads. Bad roads, maybe not quite so bad roads, good roads, but when we're vulnerable, when we don't want to face reality, or we don't want to face, I don't know what the right word is for it, but if we don't want to face the shit, it's easy just to keep throwing it to the back.
Yep. Yeah, just shove it to the back and look the other direction. Jimmy said many different programs, retreats out there for veterans and first responders, but I would start with this one. Jody said that's right.
Right on. We got a couple other guys that are coming through the program pretty soon. Robert Cole, he hit the send button and sent his application. He'll be coming through the program before long. Is your mom still on, or
Yeah, she's in the background.
let's bring mom back on.
You must have been reading Brandon's mind because he just asked if we wanted to bring mom back on.
Perfect.
Also want to give a big shout out to Brandon, the man behind the screen over there. He's SMRC alumni. He's also a 2023 mentor, and he helps us put on this podcast.
Yeah, we got to hang out with Brandon a little bit while he was up here for mentor training. Got to do a little ghost hunting and some paranormal stuff. We're really looking forward to his team. They're bringing an amazing team to do some awesome stuff the last weekend in September. So if you guys are out there and you're into ghost hunting, paranormal stuff, you're going to want to mark it down on your calendar. Last weekend in September is going to be a fun time. We're going to get to dig into the old history, the old, I guess we can call it history of Deadwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get to see what the ghosts of Deadwood have to say. Well, Mom, I know you've been on for a little bit. You've been hanging out in the back. I'm 100% sure. Brandon, you came on too.
I was just going to say that we're going to put the dead back in Deadwood.
I had so many people that were hitting me up in the last week after probably our last show, and we were talking about it, and they're like, we need more information. We got to know what this is all about. And I'm like, stay tuned, because you will not want to miss this one. This is probably going to be I'm going to say it's going to be one of the best events that Deadwood has ever seen with the group that Brandon is bringing up here. I mean, folks, there's going to be some TV clips. This is going to be on TV through many different networks, I think. But so back to Mama Linda. Tell us, you've been sitting here kind of thinking, and I'm sure you've thought of a few other things. Tell us what's some other things that kind of came to mind while you were sitting thinking.
What I love coming up there and interacting and volunteering with the participants. To watch them, like this one lady comes into mind. She was not going to get into the corral with them horses. There was no way she was going to get in there. She didn't even want to be close. Nothing. She wanted nothing to do with that. Well, I stepped away, went up and watched the beating of the leaves, and went back down there about an hour later, and she was in the pen with the horse, currying the horse. And it's just to go up there and to watch those people get so into that program, it warms my heart, and it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And not to bring back the bat again, but here's another one. When Colin's daughter Avery was here at Christmas time, holidays were really, really bad for Colin. Always bad for Colin, holidays. Come holiday time, you knew something was going to happen. Well, Avery had come up and was staying with Samantha, my daughter, Colin's sister. And my RV was parked in the yard. Or no, maybe Colin's bus was parked in the yard. Anyways, it got time for her to leave. Stephen had gotten sick, And with Avery and her kidney and all that stuff, she can't be around any of that. So Colin hadn't come in a whole lot. He pretty much slept out in the bus while Avery was here. And it come time for her to leave. And we were trying to decide, Samantha and I, if we were going to go out and wake him up to let him know that Avery was going to leave, or if we were just going to let her leave. Well, we talked to Avery. Avery didn't want to wake her dad up because she didn't want him mad. So we left it at that. Well, when he found out, then of course the anger and the frustration and the, everything, and just the explosions. Oh man, it was just, yeah. But to see Avery now, especially this last time, now that she's kind of gotten the feel that dad's not going to be explosive anymore, it warms my heart. Absolutely warms my heart. And to see him and Kristen now, you always want your children to be happy, and it's happy, and it's so wonderful to see that, and I just wish them all the best.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and Avery is, yeah, it's amazing.
I've gotten a couple of text messages from Miss Kristen, and she's thanked me quite a few times, and she said, I always knew this was the Colin deep down inside. I'm just so glad that you guys were able to find it. And I am too, because, as now, literally like another brother to me, I want him to be happy. I want him to find happiness. If that's marriage and a family and all the different things that come with it, that's what I want. Nothing more than happiness for him, and I'm going to support him 100%.
Yep. And it's so good to be able to go to bed at night and not have to worry if I'm going to get a knock on the door.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, Mama Linda, thank you so much for coming on tonight, sharing your experience. Like I said, I think it's so good to hear from family, especially from, a mother right now that can share her story of what this program means to her, what she's seen that it done for her son.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Linda, so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Looks like we got about 4 minutes left. So again, got your 6th campaign. Well, we got time for a few more questions if there's anyone out there.
When Mom was talking about the gal that was working with the horses, Greg said Tommy Voorhees worked his magic. I want to shout out to him.
Absolutely.
What an amazing guy he is, and the things that he does for Sacred Mountain and the attendees that come through.
Yeah. Greg Peters, our blacksmither. We just got some really solid people that are so talented and give their time and their effort to come up and help and give back. We got time for a couple more questions if there's any out there.
Avery, Kristen just said that her and Avery are watching the podcast, and she says, thanks, SMRC, for giving her daddy back.
Yeah, you're very welcome, little girl. We're so happy that we were able to do what we have done to help your daddy. Folks, again, the website, it's on. It's, SMRC mtnretreat.org. Go on there, research us more, do some talking with a family member, a friend. If you have somebody out there struggling, reach out. If you got any questions after the show, we have a info page that you can go to and send emails. You can find us on Facebook. You can ask questions. We try to respond as quickly as possible. So with that, let's do one of the drawings right now for some merch. You tell them what they're going to get there, Colin.
I think we'll do a sweatshirt and a hat.
Sounds good.
Just let us know what color hat you want, what size. Hat colors are black, red, white, and blue, and then
The winner,
whatever size.
Sacred Mountain Retreat Center.
Awesome.
Well, Sacred Mountain Retreat Center can't win itself.
Probably better spin that again, Brandon.
So somehow we lost the spin. So I'm just going to randomly pick a winner.
Okie dokie.
I'm going to scroll through all this. This is purely scientific, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to pick, I had landed on Jimmy James.
Jimmy James, you won yourself a hat and a sweatshirt, buddy. We can talk after the show. You might already have a sweatshirt, so if you do, we'll make it whatever you want, buddy. And then what was the other one we were going to do?
That's right,
you
buddy.
you were gonna do the if anybody donated over
Oh, right.
$6.
Yeah, so have we got anybody that signed up for the Got Your Six? They just need to send a screenshot. They have 30 seconds. Send a screenshot to us, and if you donated over $25, you're going to win something special. You can just send that to our Facebook page. Just send us, like I said, screenshot, send it. And I'm going to send you guys something pretty cool. So, folks, thank you all again for tuning in. We're going to make this a weekly deal. We're adjusting. We're going to do some, maybe look at some other dates, but that'll all be brought to you through all of our social media. We're going to have some other guests, like I said, in the next weeks to come. And that's all I have.
Yeah. Just remember, if you're struggling, sacredmountainretreat.org. Look up the info, check it out, make a couple phone calls, whatever you got to do. Fill out that application and hit send. Let's get you to Deadwood, South Dakota, and get you on the path to healing.
God bless y'all. Take care. Peace out.